Brody, congratulations. Selected as team captain for the Sturgis Scoopers for the 2025 season. Talk a little bit about what that means to you, Brody.
It really means a lot. I've worked really hard to get here. I mean, I came kind of low my first few years, and now I'm at the top at my last year. So, I mean, I'm really proud of myself and really proud of also my peers that have came up with me.
So, what position are you going to be playing this year, Brody?
I'm going to be starting center defensive mid. I'll be kind of all over the field, just, working the ball in the middle.
Talk, Brody, a little bit about how long you've been playing soccer.
I started about 4 or 5 years old. I was playing here in Sturgis my whole life, and I mean, yeah, it's just been a journey my whole life. It's all I've done. So
what's it feel like being the senior, your final season, getting ready to start this weekend? What's going through your mind?
It means a lot. Last year we had a rough game against these guys. It was the last game of the season, so kind of out on a bad note. Now it's our first game, so it's kind of a way to re-encourage the flame a little bit. Start off the season on a good note.
Congratulations for being selected team captain, and best of luck to you, Brody.
Thank you.
Well, Coach Lauder, we're looking forward to the start of the 2025 soccer season. First of all, give us a little bit of an outlook for the season with this year's team.
We are coming to this season with our culture is established. We have had this development change over the years, and it really is like this team culture. It's like a family bond. And it's such a healthy part that we are in, where we've had so many kids participate in off-season stuff, showing up, getting extra time, telling me they're calling people to go for runs, that we're heading into the season with such chemistry that we normally don't have going into seasons, despite all the losses that we had in the previous years.
Coach Lauder, talk a little bit about the goals for this season. We had a good season last year, ended on a positive note, but talk a little bit about the goals for this season.
Yeah, I mean, the season, it starts out the same, I think, for all 21, 22 teams in AA, and that's kind of win a state championship. And then along that way, it's just like checking off different boxes of, before that, let's make it to the semis, let's host a playoff game, win a playoff game, let's have a positive record, let's beat our rivals, let's get off to a good start. And for us, that's the big thing. We're at the let's get off to a good start. We'll be one of the last teams in the whole state to even play our first game of the regular season. We travel to play back-to-back defending champions, Sioux Falls Lincoln, who are going to be, I think, 3 games in. So we got to make sure that we can start our season with a rhythm that other teams already have. Because eventually, once we get into late September, we'll all have that built really well.
Coach Lauder, looking at this year's team, what do you like best about this year's team?
There's a lot of dogs out there. That's the big thing, is that there's this, even when we move into 4v4 or we move into 7s or we play big 11v11, everybody's fighting for every inch out there. I saw the other day, I saw a 7th grader went up against a junior and just put his hip into him to try and win a ball, didn't back down, and it was great. And all of our goalkeepers are pushing each other, and defenders are talking to each other and helping those that aren't leaders, telling them and showing them without me even having to do it. And so everybody just seems to kind of already starting to know their role, and the younger players are fighting for what they think that role is going to be. So it's a really good spot to be in right now.
Let's talk about the biggest challenge you see that faces you in this upcoming season.
For us, it's offensively. We lost some really high-quality offensive players. Obviously, losing Elliott Smith and Christian Lemke in the back is going to be devastating. But we had a lot of juniors and upcoming sophomores that are really kind of already filling in those roles of backups and reserves and taking up space. But we lost almost all of our offense from last year. When you lose somebody like Carson Walter, who's, he holds the record for most varsity goals scored here, that hurts you up a little bit. When you lose somebody like Dean Gebby, who can stretch the field, and then Ty Ferguson, who is literally the ultimate utility player. He can do everything and anything. Offensively, it's who's going to take that next step. We know who's there defensively, so that's kind of the challenge that we're seeing, is who's going to fill those roles and those shoes that are so heavy for the past couple of years here.
Looking at the competition out here in West River, who do you see as your toughest opponent here, West River?
I think Stevens has consistently had a top 3, top 4 program. I think they entered this year ranked 2nd or 3rd in preseason poll. They had 2 dominating wins their first weekend out here. And really, it's kind of West River's their territory. We've beaten them before on their home turf. We've played really close games, 2-1s, 3-2s. And that's going to be our toughest test. Then again, Central, they really know how to play as a team. They're a really strong, cohesive unit. Belle-Fourche, they will fight tooth and nail for every game as well. And then obviously we play Spearfish, and those games in the past couple years have just been up until the last minute of what's going to happen and who's going to win. So overall, West River competition is very high for us for who we face off. And that's not even counting other opponents. We're going to be seeing Douglas. You know, we didn't see him last year. They didn't have a team. So what is that even going to look like this year? So it's going to look good out here, West River.
Let's talk a little bit about last season. Carson Walter scored the most goals and has a school record for career goals in a season. Who's going to replace Carson for our scoring?
You know, there's a quick name right away where you don't even have to change the last name. His little brother, Troy Walter, he plays up top as well. And I think there's a sense of pride of wanting to kind of not just do what your brother did, but upstage him a little bit, do a little bit more. And I know Carson would tell you that he wants that to be his record and everything. But if Troy ended up doing really well and broke that, he'd be his biggest fan. Also, Jackson Dodson. I mean, we're a year or two removed from him scoring 11 goals in a JV season, which in junior varsity, that doesn't happen very often. You're always rotating players. We get about 4 or 5 as our high, and he scored 11. And so he'll be moving into a starting role this year. And as the first-time starter in varsity, I wonder what that's going to, look for him if that creative juices are still there. And so look for those two to really step up, and then everybody else is going to be hungry to kind of fill that role too.
Talk a little bit about the goalies. Christian Lemke holds all of our school records right now. Wyatt and Dodden are fighting. That competition good for each other?
It absolutely is, and we actually got another goalkeeper from Denmark, Oliver, and he's really technically sound as well. And so we've already kind of seen Levi and Wyatt will push each other themselves in training, and will always talk to each other and kind of outdo each other. And it's really nice because you'll see them talking to each other. When we talk to everybody else, they'll talk to each other. And so I think they want to build each other up. They both want to represent, all three of them want to represent varsity and start. And so it'll be really cool to just kind of see how the next couple of days play out for who's going to take that role. But they are pushing themselves every single day.
Talk a little bit about your leadership team and who's your captains this year.
So we are, we got a lot of leaders out here actually. So I have my own personals of like who I want to maybe pick for this or pick for that. But I always ask sometimes my upperclassmen and, sophomores, juniors, who do you see as a leader? And really, not surprisingly, all 5 of my seniors received multiple votes from tons of the other peers, not just themselves and other seniors, but underclassmen all had different players that they saw as leaders, which is tremendous. So this year, we'll be rotating a third captain that'll kind of rotate with our seniors that aren't the selected one. But Brody Foster has been named official senior captain for us. And then Brody Oliver is a sophomore for us, and he's going to be starting at center back this year. And he's really showed tremendous growth as a JV captain last year. He fights with these upperclassmen. Last year as a freshman was getting in games and doing well. And you've already seen both their leaderships kind of step up in the offseason and early on here.
Congratulations, Coach. We're looking forward to a great year. I know that the training has been going well, the preseason, and so good luck this weekend, and hope to come home with at least one of the wins.
Absolutely. We're wanting to just get this season started off right with us pushing and fighting for all 80 minutes of our first few games and establish our rhythm early.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. More over here. You're right here. Rider. The other knee. You're right. You're right. All right. Everyone look at this way and we'll be done. All right, everyone looking this way. This won't take long. 10 seconds. We said do a lot of. Well, it's weird. It's yellow, but you can't even see it. Oh, it's perfect. Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.